All right, everyone. Now what we're going to do is we're going to work on setting up a cycle ergometer. A couple of things here. I'm going to show you how to adjust the seat and different things. So it's relatively simple once you actually get it in your hands. So first off, let's look at this. This cycle ergometer is an 894E. You can see that, right? I'm going to see if I can touch it almost. It's in that area, give or take. And all that means, and I take note of that, is that this weight tray weighs 1 kilogram. That's going to be important for whenever we calculate workloads later, but I don't want to get too ahead of myself. Let's work on setting this up. So I'm going to get on the other side of it, and as you can see, I'm quite a short human, so this is set up for a giant. So if I want it to be set up for someone approximately my height, or miniature, I guess, all you have to do is take this lefty-loosey, right? Take it out, and really, you can see on here, I'm not sure if it's actually coming, all these numbers, you can set it up on one of those numbers if you just want to remember. Now, some of them are facing this way, other ones are facing that way. On there, it's it's kind of just a guess or check type of thing. But for myself, I like to have it relatively low, approximately 2 holes showing right here with a third one up top. And whenever you stand next to it, it should be approximately where your pelvis is. So whenever I get on it, let's see if I can get on it without looking like a fool. Up here, really what you want is at the bottom to have about a 5 or 10 degree angle in your knee. And really that's meaning with it being straight, being like 0 degrees, not 180. So yeah. But really, just wherever it feels comfortable for the given person that is on here. And that's just really how you cycle it. Now, dependent on the torso angle that you want, I know you can't see me quite up top up here, you can alter this a little bit. So turn it left to like loosen it up. I'm not going to do it right now because it's actually at a relatively good place for me. So there we go. That is essentially how you set it up. Now I'm going to show you how to utilize a metronome with this, because what we need to do to calculate work rates, we need to know how much weight we're pushing, how far one revolution is, and how many revolutions per minute. So remember I told you that the tray weighs 1 kilogram. Now one full revolution is, so if you see where my right foot is, where it's down, if I go through that to right there, that's 6 meters. It's technically 6.12 meters because Monarch was, it doesn't really matter why, but it's 6 meters. So the tray right there is 1 kilogram, 1 revolution is 6 meters, and typically what we do is we go at 50 revolutions per minute. Now for a lot of you that's going to feel kind of slow, because whenever you go work out in the gym, people tend to work out at, I don't know, somewhere between 80 and 120 revolutions per minute. But if you're working with less physically active populations, 50 revolutions a minute seems to work relatively well. Now here is my metronome, and we can put it on a computer and everything. Truthfully, I hear this in my sleep. I have it set on 100. Hopefully you can see that. And the reason that we have it set on 100 is so that there's a downbeat for each leg, right? So right down, left down, so kind of doubling the 50, that would be approximately 100, right? So it sounds like this. And I'm just going to demonstrate really fast once I can get on there. Yeah, we're in for a semester of hearing this, so sorry. Left, right, left, right, left, right, and so on, so on. Okay, so that's off. I'm not going to turn that on for the rest of the video. Next, I'm going to show you how to calculate a workload. Okay, so how do we calculate work rate? It's a simple equation right here. I'm sorry I turned off one of the lights in here. That's really just because of glare. So work rate or workload, I'm probably going to use those interchangeably. They likely are somewhat different, but I'm not really going to, just whichever one I say, I mean the same thing, really. So here, kilograms, meters, RPM, so revolutions or rotations per minute. Typically revolution sounds more scientific, and that's true. So let's say that we only had the tray on, one. And meters, I told you it was 6, so 6. And then RPM, that's 50. So what does that end up looking like? You multiply all of these together, that's 300. Okay, so 300. Hopefully, yeah, I mean, I can see that, okay. And how that's written, kgm per minute. Okay, so that's really just how you calculate the workload. Really simple stuff, and part of the reason why we use 50 is that we can really just focus on the amount of weight on there. So if we did 1.5, it would be 450 kilogram meters per minute. And if we did 2, it would be 600 kilogram meters per minute. Now, perhaps you've heard of what a watt is. So watts and kilogram meters per minute are fairly similar. It's a pretty easy conversion. All you do is you divide kilogram meters per minute by 6, and that's how you get the watts. So if I'm going at 300 kilogram meters per minute, and have your calculator ready if you can't do this in your head, I divide that by 6, that's 50 watts. So there you go with that. All right, that's really all you have to do to calculate work rate. It's going to be pretty important for everything that we're going up with. All right, everyone. So here's something that I neglected to talk about. Well, I guess I didn't, because y'all don't know what order I'm videoing this in. So we also have these cycle ergometers, the 828E, and these are actually, you use like a toggle to mess with it. So how this is different, if you look at this number right here, KP, that stands for kilopon, and for all of our purposes, kilopons and kilograms are the exact same thing. So KP and KG, same. So don't worry about that too much. Oh gosh, yeah. It's y'all can see how shaky I am. Here, all you have to do is whenever you're cycling, I'm not going to turn on the metronome. You just have to move this up and wait until it stabilizes. So right about there, I'm just a hair over 2. So this would be the equivalent of having 1 extra kilogram onto that tray. So many of you will use this whenever we're doing stuff in lab, so just be aware of that. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to use a arm cycle ergometer. So it's fairly similar to cycling with your legs, except you're doing it with your arms. It's on one of these, man, gosh, I'm sorry, I twitch way too much. It's on what is called a Rehab Trainer 881E. Yes, I got that right. Now, how you toggle it, you pretty much have to do this at 50 revolutions per minute. Otherwise, it's not really going to work. The amount of meters per revolution is actually a little bit different. It's 2.4 meters. Yes, so really that's just because the whole cycle is quite a bit smaller. You do it essentially just like how you would think. You just do that with the beats per minute. Now, here are a few parts that you got to look at. So up here, it's going to tell you the watts or the calories per minute. You can convert those. I'm going to show you how to do that later, but not right now. Watts, you just multiply that number by 6 in order to get the kilogram meters per minute. And how you actually toggle it to make it a little bit harder, because here, right there, it's at 25 watts per minute. I mean, well, just 25 watts, sorry. You can rotate that up. Now, well, right there. It's not really working for me because you gotta hold it in place. So, yeah, I could put a weight right here, but I'm not going to. Just trust me that you just toggle this right going up, so like that, in order to increase the weight on it. Yeah, that's really about it. If you have issues with this, I'll certainly help you in lab. We can also do it on here, like if we're doing a maximal test. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move this to right here so that we can actually get a little bit more weight on there, because this is significantly more sturdy than this. So that's how you use an arm ergometer.